What is going on? It is Crypto Bobby. Hope you guys are having a great day, great night, wherever you're watching in from. Welcome to another edition, another little episode of YouTube Live Crypto Happy Hour. Hope it's been a good day for you so far. Obviously a pretty interesting, crazy one with all of this Bitcoin news, Bitcoin Cash. A lot of infighting, a lot of anger, a lot of everything in the crypto world right now. So, somebody said no audio. I think you might be on mute, hopefully. But everything kind of going on all over the place. Whether it's been Bitcoin taking a little bit of a dip here, whether it has been Bitcoin Cash finally getting released onto G Dax after the past little bit of time here. And yeah, let's get into it. So tonight, like I said, I asked a lot of you guys in the video earlier today what type of drink I should get or whatever, and got some recommendations. One of them I ended up rolling with tonight was High West. This bad boy, High West Yippee-Ki-Yay Rye Whiskey. So excited to try this. Never tried it before. Bottle's brand new, so gonna pop this bad boy open and see what it's all about. If you guys are drinking anything good tonight, would love to hear about it. And if it's not booze, I do not discriminate, and I'm also not an alcoholic. So stop yelling at me. What's going on? What's up? Some Southern Comforts and Baileys, all that type of good stuff. 25-ounce Bud Light. Drinking a tall boy Bud Light, huh? And as always, guys, so I will try to answer as many questions as I possibly can, but if there is anything you absolutely must have answered, throw it in a super chat and I'll get to that. And I also edited the super chat alert because a couple different people were complaining about it. So I edited the super chat alert to make it different for different levels of kind of where everything is. And then also just for certain level of donations not to have the pop-up. But we should be good to go there. And as always, guys, like I said, I hope you're having a real solid day so far. So we'll hop into it, taking a look at some of these questions here as I have just the first sip. So give me 1 second. Only an alcoholic would say he's not an alcoholic. Whatever, brother. So a couple different people have mentioned things. Ethos running, we'll take a look at that bad boy. So it's up 37%. Yeah, definitely. I think all-time high right now for Ethos. Formerly, I believe Ethos was formerly UBIC. This one has definitely been Bitcoins, not UBIC, Bitcoins. This has been an interesting one. I think a lot of people have been pretty up on. Basically pretty up on this, and I've also heard a ton about Verge. I personally have nothing. I have no money in Verge whatsoever. If you've been enjoying that pump, then good on you, because it's absolutely crushed it. I mean, I think even this morning when I mentioned it was at 13 cents. Like, look at this chart. That chart is stupid. Let's look at Coinigy, because that's probably going to make it even look more redonkulous. Pop it over in Bittrex. In the past month, we have Verge going from the past month. Verge is up just a solid 1,200%, about 1,200%. So you've made quite a bit of money if you've had a few dollars into Verge. I mean, that's outrageous. So good on. I made 50K with Verge. It's a hell of a move. Good on you. Freaking good on you to to have the conviction to make that move. Profits might not be the worst thing in the world from a profit perspective, but we'll have to see. It's called Verge for a reason. Yeah, remember to take profit. I think profit isn't the worst thing in the world. Somebody else mentioned ADA, which is one of my. I was watching a bunch of things about ADA today. Actually, let me hop into the super chat there, and then I'll get into it. But Gabriel, what is up, my man? Thank you for that super chat. Bought Bitcoin, now want to buy altcoins. Buy Ethereum Classic or LTC. not sure if you're asking how to do that, but I would recommend either just basically sending your Bitcoin through basically sending your Bitcoin to Binance or to Bittrex. If you're brand new, if you're brand new, I think Bittrex is still limiting new users, so I would recommend Binance if you're brand new. There's the link below. It's my referral link, but if you want to start that, that's an easy way to buy Ethereum Classic or LTC, although I'm sure you can buy LTC on whatever platform you're on as well now too. So a couple different people said, like, what's up with Cardano? Right now, personally, I'm looking at Cardano and I'm accumulating at this point in time. I mean, it's settling off a little bit in the past couple hours. It has popped up quite a bit, but I'm trying to accumulate as much Cardano as possible. There we go. There's the new gift that I threw in there just for the heck of it. Why not? A little bit of the FU coupons. So one super chat, I appreciate that, old chief. Yo, Bobby, what's thoughts on Hashgraph? How soon will it be replacing blockchain? Heard they were also heavily involved with credit unions. We'll take a look at Hashgraph here. Well, you're not raising money. I haven't looked into these guys that much, if I'm being pretty frank. I'm always hesitant to see, and granted, this isn't a specific knock on these guys, but I'm always hesitant to see anytime somebody says, hey, we can do hundreds of thousands of transactions per second, we can do this, we can do that. How can you prove it to me? Do you have scientific research behind that? Is it just a white paper? Are people verifying that? Are there scientific researchers out there verifying that? That's, I think, something important and something that you want to touch base on. So I haven't gotten a chance to go through these guys that much. I don't know too much about Hashgraph yet, but that is it's something I'll have to take more of a look at this point in time. So I don't want to say anything disparaging about them when I don't really know too much about them. But that's just regardless of what crypto is out there and what you're looking at. Anytime somebody makes big, bold claims, you have to try to do your due diligence to see if those big, bold claims are actually true and if they can actually be verified. Because if they can't, then you're wasting your time. Andy, I appreciate that super chat as well. Thank you so much, dude. That is very kind of you. And then getting back to Cardano too, yeah, like I was saying, it's definitely something that I'm looking to accumulate on. As always, I wish I made more of a move back. Wish I made more of a move back when I got in, like November 15th, November 17th timeframe. I think November 17th was when I got in. So obviously, I wish I made more of a move. I didn't, but I do think Cardano has a really, really solid long-term potential, and from like a technical perspective, might be one of the better cryptos out there. So I'm excited about Cardano long-term, and I'm going to stay with it. I don't really plan on taking many profits. I plan on continuing to dump more Bitcoin into Cardano because I think it might be a really legit top 5. I mean, it's like number 6 right now, but I think it might be a really legit top 5 crypto at this point in time. I mean, if we're looking at market cap, it's number 7 right now. I don't see any reason it can't be plus 20, plus 20 billion. Somebody said, have I tried Will It Rye? No, I have not yet, but I'm definitely not opposed to trying a different type of rye. And this is interesting. Hi West, if you're watching, I do take free bottles. But outside of that, it's kind of sweet in comparison to most rye I've had. Definitely on the sweeter side. Not that most of you give a crap. And so somebody said you need to update your channel to include Bitcoin Cash. And so right now, I mean, if you guys have looked at my portfolio, and I talked a bit about Bitcoin Cash today, but if you looked at my portfolio at all, I don't have any Bitcoin Cash, but And as far as things go, I am very much considering putting somewhat of a hedge bet on Bitcoin Cash. Not necessarily the same amount of fiat, but a similar amount to kind of the number of Bitcoin that I have, just because I don't want to say I'm worried about Bitcoin Cash eroding my Bitcoin investment, but in some cases I am a little bit. And I'm not maybe you guys are Bitcoin Cash fans. I think probably about 80% of people in crypto are not Bitcoin Cash fans, but at least that's what I've seen. And just from the feel I get, probably 4 out of 5 people hate Bitcoin Cash. And then the other one person is very much about, all about Bitcoin Cash. So what the hell is fiat the car? Yeah, I'm going to put all my car into Bitcoin Cash. So that's something that I think you want to... I'm looking at potentially building up somewhat of a hedged position in Bitcoin Cash, just because I am a little bit worried that if the FUD continues, there might just be a lot of newbies buying into it. And then the Bitcoin position could erode over time and not turn out that well. So that's something I definitely am considering at this point in time. And I want to cover myself and make sure that I'm all good. So logic, no, you can't. Sean, appreciate that very much. Thank you for that, dude. Very kind of you. Yeah, I mean, anytime anybody says anything about Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin trash, Bcash, Bitcoin, whatever the heck you want to call it, it is a very divisive thing. I typically try not to comment on it too much because I don't want to alienate anybody on either side of things. So I don't want to be Robbie Middleman or Bobby Middleman, but I don't like all the negativity surrounding it. It's kind of crappy, but it is what it is. Bitcoin Cash is faster and cheaper. Yes, so is Dogecoin. So is Litecoin. Like, let's not go too crazy. It's not like it's anything innovative. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Thoughts on Monaco? So I'll pull up Monaco. Is it MCO, I believe, maybe? Let me get the symbol right. Yeah, MCO. So Monaco's had a nice run recently. It's still not anywhere near its all-time high. Its all-time high was $24, kind of back in the hot time frame of altcoins. So that's when things were going down with Monaco and with 10x. I'm not massive, and I've said it before, and I know a lot of people think this is like a really good use case and people need to spend their money, but I'm not. All right, give me a second because I just need to block a few idiots. If you try and spam anything, I will find you and I will hit you over the head with a bottle of whiskey. Will I become a BitConnect promoter in 2018? No. I didn't buy these Bitcoin. I earned these Bitcoin. But so getting back to the real, to the real thing. So Monaco, 10x. There are a couple other ones out there as well that Monaco, 10x that are payment, credit card, cryptocurrencies. I am not massive on these. I think that they have a tough road ahead of them, and they're a lot. They're not. I like the utility, but I don't know if the valuation of how richly they're valued in terms of, right now, almost $200 million for Monaco. Pay token is, what do we have? 10x is close to $400 million in valuation. Neither of them have recovered from their all-time highs kind of in mid-August or so. So I'm not massive on either one personally, but that is, it's just kind of my preference. Like when I made the video the other day, I mean, I think like platforms, those are a lot harder to evaluate. Like, it's a lot harder to look at a platform like maybe Ethereum, like Cardano, like EOS, like Neo, like Qtum, like all those bad boys. A lot harder to look at those and think, how should I value this? It's a lot easier for a more intelligent person than myself to look at something like Monaco or 10x and say, okay, the token economics are XYZ, the token economics are XYZ, the number of card users are XYZ, this is the value we should peg this crypto at, and this is how successful it's going to be, which is why for the most part I stay away from 10x and Monaco at this point in time. I tried to get into the 10x ICO, I didn't get into it, and ever since then I really haven't made any type of trades on them. And I think, like I said, they've cooled off since mid-August. Maybe they can make a real strong, sustained run, but we'll have to see. So looking at some of these super chats, Rex Harris said, notice you don't have any Litecoin in your portfolio with the latest move by Charlie Lee, which is, if you're not familiar, Charlie Lee sold all of his Litecoin, partly to cash out and partly to take into charity, but Charlie Lee sold all of his Litecoin. Do I plan on continuing to avoiding that in your list? I'm not opposed to Litecoin by any stretch. I just, in a lot of cases, think, at least for me personally, with the number of crypto that I have, Litecoin is in some cases a little bit redundant to having Bitcoin in your portfolio. I know a lot of people like Litecoin. I made a nice trade on Litecoin that worked out really well, and made a nice trade on Litecoin that worked out really well. Bought it at 115 and 130, sold it at 260, 265. I could have kept riding that wave up. I probably should have kept riding that wave up, made more profit, but I didn't. So, I mean, that wasn't the biggest deal in the world, but I like Litecoin. So I know a lot of people see that I don't have Litecoin in my portfolio, and they get their briefs in a bunch and they freak out a little bit and they say, why don't you have Litecoin? It's literally just because there's only so much money to go around. But yeah, something to keep in mind. But I do like Litecoin. I think there is a legitimate use case, and Litecoin could continue to go up in value if Bitcoin continues to have these scaling issues, which it is. There are a lot of people out there, and especially the newbies out there, that buy $100 of crypto Bitcoin on CoinBase, and they realize they're paying $5 in fees, and they're also having to pay $15 to move it elsewhere. And they're like, wait, why does everybody like this Bitcoin thing? It's expensive as hell. And then they try it with Litecoin, and it's a lot cheaper. So that's one thing. So Anthony Kuhn said, good idea to store 50% of crypto on Binance, 50% on a Treasure, so I could trade at a moment's notice. Could Binance pull a Mt. Gox, or is it trustworthy? I think anything could potentially pull a Mt. Gox. I would say Binance for now is trustworthy. I wouldn't necessarily, depending upon how much crypto that you have on the exchange. The less crypto you have on the exchange, the better, typically from a security standpoint, the better off you are. But Binance has been fine for now, but that doesn't mean that they couldn't get hacked or something bad couldn't happen to them. The one thing I would say about Mt. Gox is, I mean, that was something that there was significant warning over and over and over again, and people kind of continued to play with fire as things went on. So that's something that I think you want to somewhat consider, but you should be all right for the time being. So BS44, thank you very much for that super chat as well. Have a look, spotted at G Dax, a coming soon on exchange listings on the bottom of the Bitcoin Gold website. Email says they can't announce a date. A few different people have mentioned this to me. I don't know if we can see this here, but I personally doubt. So I kind of doubt that Bitcoin Gold is going to get added to Coinbase or to G Dax. That, me personally, I don't think there's anywhere near the level of adoption that needs to happen to get Bitcoin Gold on Coinbase. Yeah, you see here, so it says coming soon, but is that like legit? I don't know. Maybe it is, but I think that's I think that Coinbase would rather add another cryptocurrency and/or probably worry about SegWit and/or probably worry about the potential insider trading stuff that went on for them. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. So somebody said thoughts on Tron. So Tron's another big one that's continued to make a move up and up and up. I mean, going from 100-something mil in market cap all the way up to 2+ bill, 3+ bill in market cap. Crazy, crazy move. I mean, that's ridiculous. I haven't had much money in Tron. I think it's something that a lot of people have hopped on that pump and done real well. I don't know if it's sustainable or not. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. If you guys are really confident in the technology, then fantastic. If you're not, if you just got on board for a pump and you're riding that wave, then maybe take some profits. But I'm not massive on, I haven't done enough diligence on Tron to really see kind of if it's something that I would ever buy into. And then the other question there being Ripple, XRP, pretty much at its all-time high again, I believe. Let's take a look here. Yeah, Ripple, the all-time high. Let me refresh this page. Ripple's all-time high right now is, so it's at 84 cents. The all-time high is 89 cents. Pretty close to its all-time high. A lot of people out there, big fans of Ripple. Myself, it's just not a key thing in my portfolio. I think it's maybe a little bit outside of the type of crypto asset that I'd like to utilize, but we'll have to see how that ends up panning out. Somebody said I heard VeChain has potential. Yeah, I have some money in VeChain. I like VeChain quite a bit. So Mikel, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Appreciate it, my man. What's going on, dude? See you on Twitter as well. Where do you store your ADA? I mean, you can keep it on exchange. You can use the Dailius wallet or Dedalius wallet. I don't know how to pronounce it, but they have their own. Cardano has their own exchange there, or Cardano has their own wallet as well, so you can utilize that. The Dailius wallet is one of the only other thing you can really do besides keeping it on an exchange. So neither is necessarily. Neither is necessarily perfect by any stretch, but I think at some point in time, just with the size of Cardano being a top 10 crypto at this point, I think with the size of Cardano, we're probably going to see, hopefully, it get added to Ledger, and I don't know if it's on Treasury yet or not. So a couple people are asking what the heck is going on with Bitcoin. And, I mean, depending upon how heavy you are in Bitcoin, I'm personally pretty heavy invested in Bitcoin. So the past couple of days, I mean, let's say in the past couple of weeks, Bitcoin has definitely cooled off. A lot of this, Bitcoin cooled off real hard when it was already cooling off a little bit, but cooled off real hard when the whole Bitcoin Cash news came out on G Dax. I'm not too worried about it. I mean, Bitcoin ran all the way up in the past 3 months, really, from pretty much nonstop from $3,500 all the way up to almost $20,000. At some point in time, it's going to cool back down. This looks like it might be that time. So you can, if you want to take some profits, depending upon where you got into the game, then that's something you can certainly do. I don't plan on taking profits at this point in time. I continue to dollar cost average in on a daily basis. So that's just my preference there. I mean, ultimately, I think that you're going to see $25,000 Bitcoin probably in 2018, potentially higher. So if that's the case, any investment in now is something that will be, hopefully will pay off well and pay dividends for you. But at the same point in time, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a continued dip down to this $15,000, maybe $14,000 range. So we'll have to keep that in mind as we go. Thank you very much for that, Matt. Appreciate that, man. So, 2 ones that just came in. Chris, what is going on, dude? Appreciate that super chat very, very much. I think hopefully there's a different GIF that comes up. I tried to build this in. I don't know if it'll actually work. But I got your question on BitShares, the other one on XRP. There we go. So change that GIF up a little bit there. But with Kyle, so XRB, Ryblox, another one that has been pretty much smoking hot, had a real strong pullback and has recovered nicely from that, which is impressive, fairly impressive to see. We'll pull back on the 1 month, actually. I don't think it's on any exchanges that are actually on Coinigy, so I can't look at it on Coinigy, unfortunately. But yeah, Ryblox went all the way up to almost $4, $3.87, $4+ then pulled back down to really below $2 at one point in time. Now back above $4. Nice, strong recovery. I think a lot of people are pushing this now as an IOTA competitor. Can it be an IOTA competitor? I think there are definitely issues in terms of, technically speaking, there have been a lot of issues in the past with zero transaction fees, with instant transactions. So I'd be curious to see if anybody's done a deep dive technical review on these guys and if they are really something that is legit or not. But I think a lot of people are buying into this now as the next IOTA. And, if you can buy the next IOTA, really a lot of people are looking at this as a way to get into IOTA at a sub $100 million market cap when IOTA is at 12, 13 bill now. So a lot of people are looking at that and trying to hop on board the next game there. So Chris, again, I appreciate that, dude. So look at BitShares. So BitShares is crushing it right now. I am not the biggest BitShares fan on the planet, if I'm being pretty frank, but it's crushing it real hard. I mean, it's up 3x in the past. It's up 3x in really the past month, so that's hard to argue with. Although a lot of crypto is making that type of move. But I've played around with BitShares a little bit. I don't, as far as like the exchange goes and everything else, it's not as appealing to me as some of the other decentralized exchanges are. Like, I like 0x more than I like BitShares personally, and 0x is also cheaper for the time being. And I think the team they have an interesting team as well, 0x does, and a lot of like institutional backing. So I like 0x over BitShares, but making money's making money. So happy about that. What do you think about Power and OMG long term? I still hold OMG, bought into OMG at about $1 or so. So got into OMG fairly early. I'm holding on to OMG for the time being. Power, on the other hand, so I mean, OMG's up to about 18 bucks, so I'm up probably 17, 18x. Power Ledger, on the other hand, another one that's wow, they dipped my nuts. So Power Ledger, after its ICO, I think ICO'd at about 8 cents, maybe even a little bit less, ran all the way up to 80 cents, really pulled a 10x and then pulled back fairly hard over the early month of December, and is now making a nice movement back up and back to pretty much an all-time high, back above $1. So if you held on, if you've been patient there, that's been a solid move. I don't have anything in Power Ledger. I actually had an opportunity to participate in the ICO pretty heavily, and I turned it down. So I was an idiot, but I haven't bought in since then just because it's gone up and up and up. So I don't know what AVG is. Not exactly sure. Sneaky. So not sure what AVG might be from a crypto perspective, which one that might be. So somebody said, are we in a bad time to start investing in crypto? And you would think that the way people are acting right now, it would be a bad time to be investing in crypto. You would think that. Bitcoin is down about $3,000 from its all-time high. Some other cryptos are down quite a bit. So, you would think that, like, okay, Bitcoin's down, the market's cooling off. I mean, in my opinion, it's better. There are way more people are excited to get into crypto when it was hitting $20,000. And that's really not the time to buy in when it's at an all-time high. You'd rather buy in when something is 15, 20% off its all-time high, because the way crypto's been traditionally in the past is we've never hit a permanent all-time high. So if you're getting in now, you're probably getting in at some modicum, some level of a discount. So, can we continue to dip lower? Absolutely. There is no doubt about that. We can continue to dip lower. But you're still buying it at a discount to what you would have bought, purchased Bitcoin at 3 days ago. So I think that's a positive. That's positive news for the most part if you are brand new to the space. Have I heard of Fuel Ether Party? So have I heard of Fuel Ether Party? Really cool project. I can pull that up. So I haven't gotten a chance to play around with the beta. I think smart contracts are going to be massive, personally. That is one of the big usability features of, it's one of the huge usability features and aspects of Ethereum. One of the big reasons for Ethereum's rise and the success there, and also for a lot of the other projects, or for a lot of the other general purpose computing platforms out there as well. So I am a big fan of hold on, I got a funny text message. So I got a I just went blank. I had one of my colleagues text me and said Ripple's on the move. So Greg, if you're listening right now, which you're probably not, but yeah, one of the guys I work with literally just sent out that message and said Ripple's on the move. So two different questions. Alex and Sneaky both mentioned XVG takeover LTC with Charlie selling. So personally, I think you could debate Charlie selling his Litecoin in a lot of different directions. Some people might take that positively. Some people might think that is a very negative thing. It could quite frankly, I think you could take it either way. You could, number one, I talked about in the video today, but number one, you could say that shows that, Charlie understands that this is basically the top, and he wants to ditch for the time being, take his profits, and he'll go from there. Alternatively speaking, you could say that he's taking the economic incentive out of it for him, and that's shows his dedication or something. I don't know. So I don't really. For the most part, like if you own Litecoin, you're like, oh, this is positive, it's bullish, it's bullish. If you don't own Litecoin, maybe you have other opinions. It is what it is. So, I mean, personally, I don't think it has a positive effect. Like, I get what Charlie was trying to do. I think he seems like a really well-intentioned dude, and he seems like the type of person that probably, like, when he gets ripped on by people in the media and on Twitter, like it probably hurts his feelings quite a bit, and he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to deal with it. So, I think he was trying to avoid that, but I think it maybe wasn't the best move, just from my personal opinion. So, will Verge take over Litecoin? And then what are my thoughts on Verge? I don't know. It's tough to look at this and say there's really anything behind this pump, other than I know what's-his-face, John McAfee tweeted about it and a bunch of people bought in. But I would have a tough time. And again, every time I say this, it just like continues to double and triple. So a lot of times you guys will ask and be like, hey, like, so-and-so coin is pumping. Should we get in? And I'll look at it and be like, it's up 200%. I don't want to touch it. And then it goes up another 200%. So take that with a grain of salt. But I'm always hesitant to touch anything that's gone up that fast, that hard in any respects. Roger, what do you think about ETH? What do you think that will be on New Year's Day? I have no clue. I mean, I think a little bit of it is going to depend on the overall. A little bit is going to depend on the overall market cap and what's happening with Bitcoin. So I think, in a lot of cases, ETH can follow Bitcoin in a lot of respects. So it depends. One kind of stupid maybe theory that I have, is that a lot of people, Mike Beard is back. It's here, baby. A lot of people think that, not a lot of people, but one of the dumb theories that I have is that a lot of people come like January 1st or January will sell their crypto and take gains, but they're holding on to their cryptocurrency for now because they don't want to take profits in the year of 2017 and then have to pay taxes on crypto in 2018. So that's something that I think is that's like my theory, and quite frankly, that's what I'm doing. So that's definitely something that I'm holding on to a lot of crypto right now, a lot of the gains that I've made. So I don't want to, I don't want to play where I don't want to take profits and then owe anything in 3 months. I already owe enough taxes. So I think a lot of other people are probably going to do that too, because then they have an entire year to prepare their taxes and all that other stuff too. So I wouldn't doubt if we see a sell-off in January. So a lot of people are saying, holy crap, Xrp is exploding right now. We'll pop over to that real quick. So, yeah, it went all the way up to, I guess, 82 cents. in the past. See how from the bottom in the past 3 hours it's up 20%. So that's pretty solid move. Pretty solid move. Lots of new money will rush the market with tax returns. I would debate you on that personally. I would say that the money that makes the market move, if I'm not to sound like a jackass, but the money that makes the market move in crypto doesn't have to wait for their tax returns to, they're not waiting on H&R Block to, give them their tax refund. They already have thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions in the bank. Those are the people that in a lot of cases, and that's not me by any stretch, but those are the people that can really make the market move. Granted, I'm sure there is a large collection of people that, are getting that tax return back, but I think for the most part, the people that have to wait in a tax return to put their money into crypto or do so, I don't think that that's going to significantly impact the market in any respect whatsoever, but I could be wrong, and I've always been wrong in the past as well. So anytime I say something, half the time I'm probably wrong. So let's, we'll get into that. But thoughts on VeChain, Thor, and the government deal. So I haven't seen the VeChain government deal. I personally, as you might know, maybe you don't, but my portfolio, as always, it is online. If you want to take a look, at that, you certainly can. You can certainly look at that. But with that, I do have a pretty decent holding of VeChain. I have about 10% of my portfolio in VeChain. So I am a big fan. I haven't seen the news, but I know some people that I would consider to be highly intelligent in the crypto space, very solid in terms of understanding valuation as well as doing due diligence on crypto assets. And they've had some really good things to say about VeChain. So I'm a fan, and I'm not necessarily buying more in for the time being right now, but I'm a pretty big fan. So Chris Smith, I really do appreciate that super chat. Very, very kind of you. Since our main objective is to increase our Bitcoin holdings over time, and buying altcoins is technically trade. I guess it says be trying against Bitcoin in theory, or trading against Bitcoin. So when you sell alts, since they're at much higher value than Bitcoin, while Bitcoin's down. So I think the question is basically, if you're trying to increase your Bitcoin holdings over time, one thing that you could potentially do is buy whatever. Let's just say, we could look at any chart here, but so basically if you have the intention of buying altcoins solely for the long-term purpose of increasing your Bitcoin holdings, it's like anything. It's like the great Warren Buffett says, buy low, sell high, buy your crypto. This is against a Bitcoin trading pairing, but say you bought into Ripple. You really don't give a crap about Ripple. You just want to long-term, you just want to increase your Bitcoin holdings. You see that you bought Ripple an hour ago. Now your Bitcoin is already up 13%. So you want to sell maybe 13%, take 13% profit, or maybe you want to take 80% profit and then let the other 13% ride in Tron. Then you can do something like that. So I think that was where the question was going, to my understanding. But yeah, I think everybody has a different main objective also when it comes to investing in crypto. Some people are trying to get more US dollars, or whatever the euro, whatever your fiat currency is. It could be across the board, could be very different. So predicts on the next Verge, Cardano, Tron, gains wise. That's tough. I think the one thing that's fairly interesting about that is that, and a lot of people have typically looked, at least in my opinion, a lot of people look to these really, this is on-chain FX, so it has less crypto assets. But a lot of people typically look at these sub $100 million market coins, and they say, a lot of people look at these sub $100 million market coins, and they look at, so this website, if you're not familiar, it's on-chain FX. I really like it. But so a lot of people look at these sub $100 million market coins, sub $50 million market coins, because it's a low market cap. And, you see these billion-dollar market caps, and you're like, oh, all this has to do is if it's a $50 million coin is pull 20x, and then it's at $1 billion. There's a ton of things at $1 billion. The one thing I think that is really interesting about the past month or so is the ease of which some of these larger cryptocurrencies have pumped real hard. You know, when you look at something like Cardano, that was about $1 billion in market cap when I got into it, and it's up 12x. So that wasn't a small crypto by any stretch. Cardano wasn't. It was already like $1 billion in market capitalization, and that pumped real hard. You can also look at something like Zcash. I got into Zcash a little bit under $1 billion in value. That's basically doubled. I got into around $300 in value. A lot of other coins out there. Dash was valuable in terms of market capitalization, and Dash is basically 3x'd in the past. I mean, we can pull up Dash here, but Dash has crushed it. So I would say, I mean, it's tough to be like, yo, this is going to be the next big mover. This is going to be the next big thing, whatever it might be. But let me see if I can pull this out in a 3-month chart. Okay, so you probably were looking at Dash maybe 3 months ago, and you're saying, okay, Dash is a Dash at that point in time was probably a $2 billion, $3 billion cryptocurrency. It's already worth $2 or $3 billion. It's not going to be that. It's not going to be. My returns aren't going to be that great. So I'm not going to invest. I want to find something in the sub $50 million market cap range or whatever. Dash has, in the course of 3 months, was already a large crypto, but in the course of 3 months, it's up 300%. So definitely something that I think is worth checking out and thinking about long-term speaking. So looking at one of these super chats here, any suggestions on trading sites besides G Dax? So personally, my go-to, at least in the US, I use CoinBase and G Dax. I know some people are not happy with them right now, so I certainly understand that. Gemini is an alternative to them. Those are pretty much the two on-ramps to get fiat, and there's Kraken as well, but Kraken has been not exactly reliable in the past. So if you're trying to get fiat, if you're trying to get US dollars into crypto, into Bitcoin, Coinbase / G Dax, Gemini, and Kraken are kind of the only big ones that are the only big ones that you can really utilize. And then from there, in addition to that, I would say Binance and Bittrex are really solid. So somebody just commented, Manuel commented, received my Ledger Nano S and very disappointed. I found out that you can only store 5 crypto at the same time, which is useless if you have 10 or 12. The one thing I would say to that, Manuel, is if you have ERC20 tokens, they all are stored within your Ethereum wallet. So you might have 10 or 12 tokens, but I would venture to say maybe half of those might be ERC20 tokens. So if they are half ERC20 tokens, think OMG, think Pay, think Civic, think Augur, whatever, you can all store those. You send those simply send them to your Ethereum wallet, and they're all stored in there. They don't count as separate cryptocurrencies. So something to consider. If not though, that's it's brutal. So, a lot of people delete apps or install blah, 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 blah. Guys, give me 1 second here. What's it called? I'm drawing a blank. My fire alarm is going off because I haven't replaced the battery ever. So give me 1 second. I just need to pop it, reset the button. And we're back. Let's called your brain. So somebody said Bitcoin Cash dipping. Looks like a little bit. Maybe previously it had, I don't know. It looks like it has some level of support above $3,000. Be interesting to see where this might end up, how things might end up panning out. But I mean, the shill game, the FUD game with Bitcoin Cash is strong. Somebody mentioned, do I use the Coinigy platform for buying and selling? Mostly I use Coinigy for these videos and like a little bit of like basic charting and indicators, but I typically don't do my orders. I have the API with Coinigy, but I typically don't run orders through them. G Dax just had an update, no new coins though. I mean, that's not surprising. I think they might want to concentrate on a few other things before they start adding new coins. Oh, wow. Yeah, Cardano making a little bit of a move as well, which is, as a Cardano fanboy myself, that is nice to see. I mean, real solid to see. Yeah, real solid. It's funny because so Cardano right now it's up to about 51 cents. It was down to about 46 cents earlier today, and I just didn't have any fiat. I didn't have any dollars to throw into it, and I didn't really want to remove anything else from my other investments. So I didn't make a move, and I was kind of hoping that Cardano would slow down for a little bit of time so I could accumulate more, but that is what it is. One thing that I was actually watching today that I would recommend taking a look at some point in time, if you at all are interested in something like Cardano, maybe you're not, maybe you are, but one thing I would recommend here is, what do you got? This video that Charles Hoskinson, who is kind of like the CEO of one of the basically kind of the, I don't want to, not the Cardano, Cardano isn't a centralized company, but that YouTube video that I just linked to, it's this video. It is super, super legit, and that guy is about as sharp as they come. So if you're interested in learning, even if you don't want to put money into it or you don't have money into it, then I would recommend just taking a look at that video for sure. Yep. IOHK. I forget what IOHK stands for off the top of my head, honestly. Sorry, Nick. Looks like I missed the super chat there. Thoughts on Wabi? So I have quite a few friends that like Wabi quite a bit. A lot of people I know participate in the ICO, and it's done, I think, pretty well since the ICO for the most part. Maybe cooled off a little bit. I don't know exactly the multiple that it was trading at for the time being, but this is, I think, VeChain isn't the exact same thing, but I need to do more due diligence on it. But I do think that they have, the anti-counterfeiting, especially in China, but in China and then internationally as well. But anti-counterfeiting is a big deal, and I think it is a pretty solid use case of blockchain technology. There are a lot of stupid things that people are doing with blockchain, but there's also some really smart things that people are doing with blockchain as well. And I think this could potentially be one of them. So I don't know the token economics of it, and I don't know why the token is needed or how it might work, everything on that side of the house. But the overall concept of it, I think, is pretty appealing. Bobby, I sold my house and invested $150,000 into Funfair. Do you think I'll make it? I think I would maybe take about 30 grand to that. I don't know how much a lawyer costs specifically, but I don't know if you were married, but if you were, I would take about 30 grand, find a good divorce lawyer, because you're going to need it for sure. So, you know, maybe check your assets there, because you're going to lose. You're going to lose that house. You already lost the house, but you're definitely going to lose your wife, Alan. So get a good divorce lawyer. Hopefully, you know, Funfair gives you a 10x, and maybe that 30K is okay for you in the future. But sounds like a plan, man. Also, find a good cardboard box, because you might need that in the future as well if things don't pan out. He's going to be the one laughing. I think he's trolling, but I love it anyway. So somebody said Amazon partnering with Ripple. If I hear another damn, let's see, is it real? Is it not? I don't know. So one thing I will say is I hate stupid rumors. Like, I don't know, whatever. It just sometimes it bothers me, especially when people have reasons behind them. But yeah, I mean, as far as Amazon goes and Ripple goes and Amazon and cryptocurrency, I don't know. There were a lot of people that were saying, you know, Bitcoin, Amazon was going to accept Bitcoin, you know, all of this stuff. Amazon was about to accept cryptocurrency. Amazon bought a couple domain names. I mean, that's all brand protection. That's not necessarily reality or truth. Prove it to me. You know, if Amazon comes out tomorrow and says, hey, we have a partnership with Ripple and we're going to, you know, utilize Ripple, then that's awesome. But I don't own any Ripple, so I'm not going to be affected. Hopefully, I know a lot of you guys in this chat obviously do own Ripple, so hopefully you go, you know, get rich. But I don't see any. For the time being, I think Amazon is the hot name to attach to everything in Manetha. Amazon is the hot name to attach to anything in cryptocurrency when you want that price to go up, and or when you want to sell a paid newsletter, like some curly-headed dude that I will not speak of. Carter, you've asked for a BitConnect opinion like 10 times, and when it was in all caps, I saw it, and I think BitConnect is trash, and I wouldn't put my money into it, so that's why I wasn't answering it. But drink up, Argard. Drink up, baby. So looking at some of these questions, Monero is pumping pretty hard. Hold on, where? Let's see if I could find it. Yeah, I've tried to block those advertisements. I see somebody, Blake, yelling. I've tried to block those advertisements. It literally doesn't work, and they're pretty much the only way I get compensated for anything here. So I've tried to block, and I've tried to put in different URLs to block that stuff. So I do what I can. Sorry if it doesn't block. And, you know, if you have to see, guys, I really do apologize when you have to see advertisements on my channel of a rented penthouse in Miami, or a rented hotel room in Miami. So it's, those bitcoins aren't bought, they're earned. And that is why that there's a penthouse in Miami. So sorry about it, guys. Somebody mentioned sign up with a Brave browser. I actually have signed up with a Brave browser, and I have a verified YouTube channel on Brave. But it's kind of, I don't know if I did it right or whatever, but it is verified, but I've literally haven't earned 1 cent or 1 BAT token at all. So not exactly the best way to monetize anything, or I don't know what's happening, but yeah, Brave browser just hasn't worked at all yet for me, and I haven't made any BAT from it. So 2 different super chats there. Jessica, appreciate that. POE hasn't budged. Do you think I should hold? I mean, POE basically tripled in the past, depending upon where you got in, obviously. But I mean, Poet pretty much tripled since the past week or so. So I don't know about not budging, but depends on where you got into it, to the point how hard it budged. But anytime you want to sell, I think that really, I think anytime you want to sell, you probably shouldn't sell, and anytime I don't know. Yeah, somebody said stay away from Ether Delta for the time being. Yeah, I think Ether Delta got hacked, so that they got compromised somehow. I think their DNS got hacked. So not great news at all by any stretch, but we'll have to see. I haven't touched Ether Delta recently, so unfortunately, hopefully that there are a lot of people that haven't been sending ETH to fake smart contracts or anything like that. So Steven, yeah, and their commercials. Yeah. An altcoin wallet would be a game changer. I mean, there are a lot of wallets out there that have some level of multi-coin functionality. Ledger, Treasure, they have certain limitations, but hardware wallet-wise, they're about the best, and they have the most opportunity. They have the most flexibility there. But yeah, it would be a game changer. I think security is really the big thing. Over convenience, security is the big thing. I don't know. So let me see if we can see this. So if you guys aren't familiar with let's see if this is something we could pull up quickly. So I'm going to try and pull this up real quick here. So Nathaniel Popper, who wrote Digital Gold, which is one of my favorite books out there, but New York Times, not the Wall Street Journal, but Winklevoss Bros. If you've ever seen Social Network, they obviously sued Mark Zuckerberg. I think made about 50, 60 mil after Zuckerberg may or may not have screwed them out of Facebook. I actually saw them walking around New York City a couple months ago, and they are, as you can see, identical twins. They are both freaking huge, like 6'5", would beat the absolute hell out of me. And yeah, but I saw them, and I was walking the city, and I was like, Winklevoss Bros, the Winklevosses, and I just didn't say anything at all. But I think the Gemini office is right in Chelsea, New York. So that's where I saw them. But they have there's an interesting article I'll post it here from the New York Times, and it's about how the Winklevoss twins are securing their Bitcoin, and they have like over $1 billion worth of Bitcoin now. Apparently the Bitcoin stockpile is worth about $1.3 billion. So they're rich, and they also they've also made some pretty significant, basically they made some really, really significant moves in terms of security, because when you have $1.3 billion, you're not going to leave that on a ledger, or you're not going to leave that in an Exodus wallet in a penthouse in Miami. So you're going to actually take through and you're going to do some intelligent things regarding security. And so this article goes into depth about what the Winklevoss bros have done from a security perspective in terms of like multiple safety deposit boxes, splitting private keys all over the place. And it's a pretty fascinating article that I would definitely check out. Somebody said, Bob, do you have any information on the Mcafee coin? No, I do not. But if you I literally just tweeted about this before, but here we go. So there we go. Yep. So John Mcafee, beginning tomorrow, I will each day talk about a unique altcoin. Most of the 2,000 coins are trash or scams. I read every white paper. Kind of doubt that. A lot of white papers. I read every white paper. The few I'm connected to, I will tell you. The rest I have no position in. These coins will change the world. You can support. So, and then I provided my own little commentary and joked around and just said, beginning tomorrow, I will be pumping one coin in my portfolio every day from here on out. So, just looking at some of these questions here, but yeah, I have no idea about Mcafee Coin or whatever, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he pumps the market because he's definitely gonna pump the market. Yeah, he's going to eat his genitalia if certain things don't work out right. So who knows? Kind of doubt he's going to. Hey guys, just an FYI too, as far as the comment section goes, I can read. You don't need to put it in all caps. So, throwing it in all caps doesn't make that big of a difference. I can read it if it's lowercase. I can read it if it's uppercase. It'll be all right. I'll get to it. I'll try to. And if you really want an answer, throw it in a super chat. Other than that, I'll try to get to as many of them as possible. But, I just like busting everybody's balls. All caps, yeah. Just throw them in all caps now to spite me, please. Please do it. Thanks, Mick. Have a great night. I'm such a sarcastic jackass. Why not? Because you guys are throwing in all caps, I need to just drown my sorrows away from you. So it looks like so two different super chats that I missed. Peter Spinuzzi, what is up, dude? Appreciate that very much. Thank you. What is your take on Tron through the end of the year and into Q1 next year? A lot of people have been asking about Tron. I don't have too much of a developed opinion on them yet. That's kind of one of the cryptos on my list that is there to evaluate. It's pumped up so hard that I really need to more thoroughly evaluate it. The pump has been incredible, especially if you were to get in any time in November. But I haven't put in a ton, so I can't really give you some type of definitive what I think it's going to be by next year, by the end of next year, why it would be in a certain place, why it's a good fit, why it's not. So I need to go through the white paper because that's kind of it's literally on my list of cryptos to go through. Probably like one or two is there. So somebody else, Chang mentioned EOS. And EOS is one that it's kind of like EOS, Cardano. So I mentioned this the other day, but on-chain FX, if you go to filters, I like filtering by sector. General purpose platform is a good way to filter things. And you have the general purpose platforms are typically very valuable across the board. So if we filter this by market cap, I mean, you have Ethereum, you have Cardano, Ethereum close to $80 billion, Cardano 12, 13 bill, NEM almost $9 billion, EOS $7 billion, NEO less than $5 billion, Qtum, Ethereum Classic, Lisk, Waves, very, very valuable across the board. EOS is one that I'm bigger on both Ethereum and Cardano than I am on EOS. I have no money in EOS, but again, that EOS is pumped real well the past couple of in the past couple of weeks, in the past couple of months. So that is something that that I don't know. I'm not a huge EOS guy personally, but that's something that you can definitely keep in mind in the future. So somebody said, how am I able to store Crypterium on an ERC20 token on the Ledger Nano S, and how? So basically what happens, James, is you go to, so pretty much all you have to do is you go to My Ether wallet, you pop over, you get this crazy filter, disclaimer, don't get fished, blah, 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 blah. Click on send tokens. I don't have my Ledger plugged in, but basically what you do is you click on the Ledger wallet, you connect to your Ledger wallet, you type in your password, you enter the Ethereum app on your Ledger Nano S, and then you get your Ethereum address. All you have to do is get the Ethereum address from My Ether wallet that you use, and then you send your Crypterium, your ERC20 token, or any other ERC20 token to that address, and you're good to go. And the tokens are stored on the exact same address as your Ethereum is. So you can send and receive both Ethereum and ERC20 tokens from the same basically account, or from the same Ethereum address, utilizing your Ledger wallet with My Ether wallet. That's exactly what I do. Super helpful, super effective, really easy to do. Chris, big fan, first time commenter, long time listener. I love the reference there. Any ridiculous sports radio type of reference, love it. So, can I get your thoughts on NYC deferred comp 2055? I don't have any thoughts on that, sorry, but I do love the reference. Cody Tappan, what is up? Appreciate the super chat. Canadian too. I'll have a sip of maple syrup for you tonight. Maybe watch the Maple Leafs. Who knows? So I missed one of the two super chats. Cryptos Blacko, what is up, my man? Always good to see you. Have you seen Doge? You guys know I'm a Doge fan. I'm a Doge to the moon type of guy, and Dogecoin pumped just in a silly manner, but it definitely pumped. So let's just take a look. So, I mean, Dogecoin is pumping pretty hard in the past month, and there's really no other reason other than like crypto. Like, that's the reason. It's because Dogecoin, I don't think has had an update to its GitHub in the longest time. So is there any value behind the network? Not really. Are people still using it? Not really, but I love Doge. Love me some Doge. The other question here, Kyle. What is going on, Kyle? What is your opinions on the difference between Cardano, EOS, and Ether? Why is one better than the other? I think all of them have different approaches to things. One of the big difference of approaches, and like I said, I don't know if you were here previously, but if you go to Cardano, and if you want to learn about Cardano specifically, go to What is Cardano, and there is this video here that I would watch, and that literally explains exactly why. It explains Bitcoin, it explains Ethereum, and then it explains why Cardano is potentially like the third generation of crypto. So that's something that I would absolutely watch. Charles is extremely eloquent in terms of his speaking. So if you're interested in that, I would definitely recommend that if you want to know the difference between Cardano and Ethereum, as mentioned by basically the head of Cardano, or one of the figureheads of Cardano, I would certainly mention that from an EOS perspective. I don't know. EOS is something that a little bit turned off by the year-long ICO. It's not my cup of tea. Although, just because they've had that in place doesn't mean the coin hasn't turned out really, really well. And you could have made quite a bit of money on it. Somebody said, why stream on YouTube instead of Twitch? I don't really know. Isn't Twitch pretty much just for gamers, I thought, for the most part? I'm not like a dedicated YouTuber. I haven't really done that for very long. So I'm always trying to figure out the tech behind it. I am going to play around with the Rise platform from Props, the Props ICO, when that's coming out. I'm going to play around with the Rise. Basically playing around with Rise when that comes out. I would love to try that out and see what live streaming might be like on that platform. Somebody mentioned thoughts on Ian Bellina and finding promising ICOs. Ian seems like I haven't talked to Ian personally. Seems like a nice enough dude. He does. I think he has a pretty good formula when it comes to ICO research. I also think that he's kind of found his niche in ICOs personally. For the most part, depending upon the ICOs have definitely cooled off. And it's harder to make money in ICOs than it was previously. So, but he has I think he puts out a lot of research, and if anything, at the very least, he can act as a filter for you to walk through potentially which ICOs you should or should not invest in. So, he definitely does some good content though. Twitch is for betas. I'm an alpha. Come on. What are we kidding me here, Dominion? So somebody mentioned thoughts on 0x. Personally, I am a big fan of 0x. I think decentralized exchanges at some point in time are going to be very big. Whether or not it's right now, something alphas don't say, I'm an alpha. Well, when somebody calls you a beta, you got to say you're an alpha. Chris Pratt said he was out in alpha in Jurassic World, and I'm very much, I would say I'm basically Chris Pratt Sr. So, no, I'm kidding. I love Jurassic World. Chris Pratt is way too handsome for me. So, is what it is. What is your favorite whiskey? It depends on what your price point is, but I like my go-to like daily whiskey is I love Bullet Rye. I like Macallan 12. It's not bad. This is like twice the price of the regular High West Rye whiskey, though, and I don't know if it's worth maybe twice the price, but the name is sweet, Yippee-ki-yay. So the name was cool, but it was like a $75 bottle of whiskey, but you guys are worth it, so. Edward P. Walker, where's the super chat link? I think it's just right below where you comment it. Going back on some of these super chats, Daniel Lamartina, what's up? Thoughts on Privitex project could change lives. So these guys reached out to me a couple different times via email. To be honest, I just never responded. I need to do a little bit more research on them. I mean, they're only being traded right now in Mercatox. Don't trade on EtherDelta because your stuff's going to get hacked. And then COS, which is a smaller exchange as well. But, I mean, VPN is obviously a big market. Whether or not being a blockchain VPN network is worth anything or if that is good from a usability perspective, we'll have to see. But I haven't gotten a chance to utilize their product. But maybe it could be something that is long-term a really good fit. I also have gotten emails from a lot of other companies that are trying to do VPN-type work on a blockchain or doing an ICO for a VPN. So I think there's probably a competitive space. Crypto Supply Crow, appreciate that, my man. Just persuaded a Ty Zen. I think I met Ty Zen at a props meetup in New York City. So, I met Ty in person. Just persuaded a blockchain dev to update Dogecoin. Thought it was a joke, but an hour later, he's seriously considering it now. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, it'd be funny. I mean, I don't think Dogecoin, like I said, has been updated in a quite some time. The other question, have been working late this week, but flying home to Jersey for the holidays. Got a bunch of your podcasts queued up. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much for that, Michael. Very kind words. Enjoy the flight back from Jersey. Don't know where you're flying into, but greatest state in the United States of America. So, Evan, you've literally asked 10 times thoughts on Ian Bellina, and I asked the question. So, you blocked, bro. Just tuned in. What beer's on deck? I did whiskey tonight instead. It's High West Yippee Ki-Yay, a blend of straight rye whiskeys. And no, this podcast is not, or no, this video is not sponsored by High West as much as I'd like it to be. If anybody wants to send me free whiskey, I'm all ears. Thoughts on Bitcoin. So let's see here. Bourbon, not whiskey. Ever tried Maker's Mark? I'm not a huge Maker's Mark fan. Any thoughts on T0? Their ICO open today. So T0 is the ICO from Overstock.com. I believe it's a SAFT ICO, so it's going through a different type of, or it's, as of this point in time, I believe it's simply for accredited investors, and there's a pre-sale. I am not going to touch this. I am, number one, not an accredited investor, so even if I wanted to touch it, I could not touch it. So not that big of a deal at this point in time for me personally, but I mean, if you want to have any type of, what do we got here? If you wanted to play around with this at all, one of the things you could potentially do is you could simply invest in the Overstock.com stock itself. That's crushed it pretty much throughout the year, which has been nuts. That's gone from, over the course of the year, it's gone from $16 all the way up to $70. I mean, that's a ridiculous move, but a lot of people are buying that for pretty much exposure to the cryptocurrency world. I mean, I think when this started, this was less than like a $500 million company. Now it's less than almost $2 billion in market cap. Edward, appreciate the super chat. Do you have any thoughts on Tokia? I'm interested in getting into it. So I'm assuming if it's not in CoinMarketCap, it's an ICO. It is an ICO. Geez, Crypterium is investing or advertising all over the place. Another cryptocurrency exchange. I don't know. I haven't done a ton of research on this, but how is this different from Robinhood? How is this different from any of the other ones out there? And even when you talk about free cryptocurrency exchanges, unless you're trading a ton of money, then unless you're trading a ton of money, does the 0.3% fee that you're trading really equal that much? Probably not. So you might be sacrificing some user experience there. David, hey, what's going on, man? I heard you were experimenting with some something other than whiskey on your YouTube live. So I got to shoot you an email back, man. Sorry I didn't get back to you. It's been a crazy week of work, finishing out the year. Everybody say what's up to David. David is the man. I had a good time with him in Vegas. So, and I think maybe we'll be hanging out in New York sometime soon as well for the next NAC3 event, which should be pretty sweet. Does everybody make sure David's okay? . 'Cause, 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 ' I don't know why he's so hungry. He's been ordering pizza to his house all night long. What's going on? I'm kidding. So enjoy the 10x with the Japanese whiskey Habiki. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right at all. I was actually looking, Mark, at some Japanese whiskey and had no idea which one to go with, and then just ran away from it. So I was confused, and I was also scared because it's a lot easier to pronounce High West than it is to pronounce Habiki, especially when you're potentially a little bit tipsy. So something to consider as I move forward, though. But I've actually never had Japanese whiskey. Yeah, red coin is up, 300%. Makes sense, right? Crypto's ridiculous. If anybody has a reason as to which red coin is up 300%, I don't know who. I don't really know what the deal is, to be honest. I've started to notice it a little bit, but like anytime a coin is up quite a bit, basically anytime a coin is up a bit, all these people come into the YouTube live and just start being like, XYZ coin, XYZ coin, XYZ coin. Like yesterday was Verge, 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 and they weren't saying anything but just like Verge. And then today it's red coin, red coin, red coin. And I'm wondering if there's some type of bots or whatever. Yeah, somebody, what's up, Mike? Appreciate the comment there. WhistlePig is legit. They also have a great Instagram as well. They kill it on the social media game. WhistlePig's Instagram is. But yeah, it's funny because it's like all I've been seeing these comments about red coin, and they're literally nothing but just red coin, red coin, red coin. And yesterday was Verge, Verge, Verge. And I'm like, I wonder if it's, I wonder if these are like, you hear about these pump and dumps. And it's funny because I was listening to the book Crypto Assets, and they were talking about what happens with some of the ways people pump and dump these coins, and they'll buy in pretty early. They will go on social media, and they'll just like kind of pump it. And then, yeah, Omar just yelling red coin, red coin, red coin. I'm a red coin bot. Aren't we all? I'm a red coin bot. That's what I'm here for. I was accumulating pretty early back when it was, real low, when there's $1,000 in volume a day. It's also ridiculous that let's say 12 months ago, Redcoin's volume was on a daily basis less than like $1,000 a day. And now Redcoin is at $175 million in volume a day. That is so stupid. But hey, if you're making money, you're making money, right? I guess whatever. Somebody mentioned Icon ICX, the Korean ETH, many talking about it. I'll pull it up. So it's on Binance, basically just on Binance and OKX. Basically the only legitimate volume is coming from Binance. I don't know how it's been trading since like mid-October, perhaps. I'd have to do a little bit more research on these guys. I mean, they have pretty decent volume, but I don't know too much about ICX. But anytime somebody has to, I don't love when, the one thing I don't love is when companies out there like have to say, we're the, we're the so-and-so. Like even when Neo, even when Neo was saying like, hey, or when people were referring to Neo as like the Ethereum of China, it was more of like a marketing pitch than anything in reality. But at the same time, that is an effective marketing pitch. It is. So Ripple is the only interesting thing as of now. I would say that is a highly incorrect statement. I think crypto as a whole is ridiculously interesting. And saying Ripple is the only thing that's interesting is a silly statement. At the same point in time, Ripple's pumping nice and hard. So Ripple is interesting right now, but it's definitely not the only interesting thing on the planet. Cassidy, you gained a sub. I appreciate that. If you are new to the channel by any chance, hit the subscribe button, the notify bell next to that. I would absolutely, certainly appreciate that. I really, really do. Every single person that's watching this, this is like the most, this past couple months having this channel has been like the most fun I've ever had. So Where do you keep your ADA since it's not on the Ledger yet? The Daedalus wallet or the Daedalus wallet or however you pronounce it. It's on the Cardano website as well as a little bit on some exchanges as well. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. Thanks, Derek. Dude, you should get out more. I get out plenty, man. I get out plenty. Somebody said, how do you feel about fun fair? So I'll pull it up. It's doing all right today. Up a couple percent. It's pretty much at an all-time high since the ICO back in June, July timeframe. I think we talked about this the other day. I think this was talked about on the last super chat. And yeah, somebody said F getting out. Yeah, I'm all about sitting inside, looking at the charts, not doing anything, no physical activity whatsoever, eating buffalo chicken wraps for every other meal, occasionally pizza and hamburgers. So yeah, and a quick shout out, speaking of pizza, I was literally last night when I was getting pizza from my favorite pizza place, I stopped on the way home from New York City from work, stopped and got pizza, got 2 slices of pizza, and there was a guy, I have no idea if you're watching it. If you are, I love you. If not, it's okay. But I was getting 2 slices of pizza, and there's a guy in line, and this is like in, literally in suburbia, and somebody stops and goes, yo, don't you have a YouTube channel? And I was like, not only are you awesome because whatever, but in my favorite pizza place, that's it. So if that actually is you, 11, you my man. Anthony Franco's, what up, dog? But Funfair, I think that the casino industry, gaming, casinos, that is a potential. The transparency that could potentially provide with the transparency that could potentially provide, the blockchain could potentially provide, is a really interesting thing. I haven't gotten a chance to utilize Funfair yet, like I said the other day, but having really solid visibility to show like the odds and the legality of it is a pretty interesting way to go forward. And there are another number of other ones outside of Funfair, but Funfair's. Sorry for the yawn. Yeah. Somebody said Bobster get paid out in BAT tokens very soon. And Brendan, I think it's Brendan Ike, is the founder and the CEO of Basic Attention Token at Brave. He actually, I mentioned Brave a while ago, and he retweeted the tweet I had. And yeah, that was cool. He has like 90,000 followers on Twitter or something because he's the former founder of Mozilla as well. So that was pretty cool. But I haven't gotten any Brave tokens yet. I mean, I don't know if it's on like a monthly basis or how they do it, but and so hopping back into these super chats, Rohan, yo, you still 47 years old? Yeah, I'm turning 48 next week. I know my skin complexion is good for 47, coming on 48 years old, but I'm working on it. So I've been eating my Flintstone vitamins, and I've been good to go. When you start yawning at happy hour, it's time to go. It is never time to go. I'm going to keep going until I pass out. It's the last sip of whiskey, though. Thank you very much, Crypto Iota. Appreciate that. And Edward Walker, thank you, dude. This is slightly off topic, but I have a crypto wallet that I set up when I was drunk. Do you have a video or link from somebody else's wallet for getting their funds out of that wallet? I don't know what that wallet was, Edward. So I don't know off the top of my head what that might be. You might have to explain that a little bit further as far as like what type of wallet that is. But I mean, a lot of times, depending upon what it is, you might have to Google like how you could potentially. It's tough depending upon what it is. Yeah, there's so many different crypto wallets out there that you need to look at a little bit. Why is your backdrop the default Windows wallpaper? Because it literally is the default Windows wallpaper. See? I ain't lying. You have a gamer notification system going on? Yeah, I think it's Streamable Labs is the company that I've been using. So they've been really helpful. You know Anthony Franco's? Do I know Anthony Franco's? I actually eat at Anthony Franco's like 4 days a week because I eat pizza, hamburgers, and buffalo chicken for every single meal. And then steak like probably every other meal. Steak burritos, buffalo chicken, pizza, hamburgers, buffalo chicken, pizza, hamburgers, and then some sushi in between. So I want to take a quick look and see what's happening with good old everybody's favorite and or least favorite Bitcoin Cash. Quit being a douche. You quit being a douche. Oh, here we go. How are you not fat? Because I only eat like 2 meals a day. Intermittent fasting, bro. So, I mean, Bitcoin Cash has kind of been chilling between the. It hasn't been that. I guess it's been somewhat volatile, but like not that crazy on G Dax so far. I'm still debating whether or not like it's worth hedging into Bitcoin Cash just in case Roger continues to FUD CNBC and yell and flip and go all crazy and all that stuff. So I'm like debating it. I think I kind of want to sleep on it and see what's happening there. Do I follow Kino Body or something? I've seen his advertisements everywhere though. Don't buy. Yeah, I mean we'll have to see. I mean I am not. You guys can, as always, you can see my portfolio basically every time, and that's going to give you the insight into where my head's at, what I'm thinking, kind of where I'm at, and you can look at my portfolio. And my money's where my mouth is. I mean, I have 46% of my portfolio in Bitcoin. So, take that for what it's worth. Also, it's kind of funny too. I mean, if we're hopping on the subject right now, we can take a look at where the good old Roger is not fudding. He's speaking the truth. So I would say that. So what I'll say to this is that the way in which kind of a lot of this stuff goes down, I think Roger Ver has very strong points. Like I am not. That's all nasty food. No, it wasn't. But I think Roger Ver has very strong points as far as Bitcoin goes, saying the transaction fees are too high. I think they are. I think the transaction fees for right now are too high. Bitcoin Core or Bitcoin is working on scalability issues, but the transaction fees are too high. And in a lot of respects, it's taking too long to get things done, to have transactions go through. But the way in which he says things, it doesn't come off well. And he's too, like, instead of saying Bitcoin Cash is faster, it's cheaper, and this, he just kind of attacks Bitcoin and attacks Bitcoin and attacks Bitcoin, rather than selling his own product or whatever you want to say. So I think that that's something that, Like, yeah, I don't know. But so this was crazy where, where was this? So CNBC Fast Money last night, like I thought they literally got hacked. I thought they hopefully, I think this is all muted. I'm very much hoping that this is muted. Okay, it is. But so last night they went, okay, so here, yep. Last night they said Bitcoin Jesus on tomorrow, hashtag deal with it. Then they retweeted this. The reason there was so much hostility from Bitcoin Core towards Bitcoin Cash is because Core knows they have stolen the name and they are advocating a different system that was originally described by Satoshi, blah, blah, blah. And then they also said check out the new edition of Coinbase. So CNBC was basically like shilling Bitcoin Cash. And granted, like I don't give a crap one way or another for the most part. Like, they can shill all they want. But for like a legit company, that was somewhat unprofessional. Like, let's be honest. I don't care one way or another. But I thought they literally got hacked by like somebody that was a Bitcoin Cash fan. So, and the other thing that I'll say too is that it's like, if you guys started calling me like, not that you ever would, but if Bobby Jesus or like crypto Jesus or crypto God or crypto Bobby God, I'd be like, yo, I'm actually not God, and I would rather you not call me that, and I'll dispute that name for now. But Roger embraces that stuff, so I think that's kind of funny. So I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, I think he has valid points, but the way in which he approaches things, it's not great, and it turns off a lot of people, and it kind of hurts his image. And it's crazy too, because if you watch a lot of these documentaries about the foundation of Bitcoin and about how a lot of this stuff started, like Roger Ver was like one of the biggest dudes to get Bitcoin like to where it is today. Like, no BS. Roger Ver was like one of those dudes that like Bitcoin wouldn't be where it is today without Roger Ver. But now he's just gone from Bitcoin Jesus to Bitcoin Judas or whatever anybody wants to say. So it's interesting. It's really, really interesting. I mean, if you watch the documentary on Netflix, Roger Ver is a big part of that. If you watch a lot of if you listen to Digital Gold, Roger Ver is a big part of that. He was buying up Bitcoin super early on. He was buying posters. He was getting in taxi cabs and giving Bitcoin away. Like, he was the poster boy of Bitcoin, a great marketer. But now he's basically marketing against Bitcoin to Bitcoin Cash. But the one thing I will say is, we got Bitcoin Judas or Bitcoin Jesus, whatever you want to say about it. But the dude makes money. You can't, anything that he's put his money behind has made money in the past. So that is something that I would definitely say that, as soon as he started pumping Bitcoin Cash basically from the get-go, Bitcoin Cash in a lot of respects has, even though Bitcoin has crushed it, Bitcoin Cash has outperformed Bitcoin in the past couple of months. So whether or not he's ethical, whether or not, I mean, I think he tweeted recently something about insider trading that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Oh, here we go. So he said this. He said, you should want more insider trading, not less, I think, in regards to Coinbase and in regards to Bitcoin Cash. And then they said there shouldn't even be an SEC. Insider trading was illegal until 1968. And then I didn't even see this, but these responses: there should be no Roger Ver, Satoshi Nakamoto. You are out of your effing mind. Seek help. Yeah, I mean, these are funny responses. Obviously, that video, he's got a funny-looking middle finger, but that was a funny video. So, yeah, who knows? And if you don't follow me on Twitter, shoot me that follow. So I would always appreciate that. Sometimes I'm halfway useful. A lot of times I'm just full of crap, and I post dumb things, but I love Twitter. So, love Twitter way too much. So somebody said, why is, and it's a good question, Sam says, why is there still so much market confidence in Bitcoin then, since there are so many issues right now and with Roger? So I think that is a good question. And there are, number one, I think there are a lot of people that have been invested in Bitcoin for a long time. Bitcoin is, and a lot of other cryptocurrencies out there, Bitcoin is kind of like a religion. Ethereum is kind of like a religion. Like, they're Bitcoin maximalists. They're Ethereum maximalists. Hell, there's like Electronium maximalists right now. Like, there are people that love this stuff and would like kill somebody to, you know, to prove their point because they just love that cryptocurrency. So I think that is, to be pretty frank, one of the big reasons that there is a ton of market confidence. And I don't think this was an intention of Bitcoin at all. I don't think this is what it was originally intended to do. But Bitcoin has now become, in a lot of respects, a digital gold. It is a finite, fixed supply of a digital asset that people are holding on to because they think it is going to be more valuable in the future. Institutions are now investing in it because they think it's only going to be more valuable in the future. There are only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoins. There are only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin. So how many of those do you own? Do you own 1? Do you own 10? Do you own 100? Do you own 0.5? It's something that is a big reason, and you know, certainly something to look into. So somebody said, why is Bitcoin and Litecoin valued different, let's say, on Coinbase versus Binance or on CoinMarketCap? So this is something, I mean, you can pretty simply hop over to CoinMarketCap and we can do something like this. So I'll pop over here and we'll look at, so we'll just look at, for example, Litecoin, and we'll take a look at Litecoin. And if you're ever curious about where something trades, so I'm looking at the question here real quick, super chat from Edward. So come on, I need a better answer than that. Just send me a link for what I'm missing. I have a public key and I don't know how to get the money and transfer it to another account. So I mean, so I don't know if I missed anything from that, you know, so I don't know what wallet you're using. That's number one. So, I mean, recovering a private key, I mean, you kind of need to, so I need a little, to be honest, like I need a little bit more information on your end if I can really help you there, man. And I really do apologize, but like looking at the question so far, you basically said, you know, I have a crypto wallet. I was drunk. Do you have a video or a link for somebody else getting the funds out of that wallet? I need a better answer. Just, you know, send me a link for what I have the public key, but I don't know how to get the money out or transfer it to another account. I mean, if you still have the wallet on your desktop, you should be fine. But I don't know what you're trying to recover. You need a recovery key, or you need to, you know, there's a couple different things that you could go through that. There are a couple different ways. I mean, you can literally just like Google it, but yeah, dude, it's not enough info for me to really help, and I appreciate the super chat, but you know, you have to have that private key somewhere. If not, you're kind of screwed. So. But if you can give more information about what cryptocurrency like wallet it is and things like that, I'm sure myself or other people could help you as well. But yeah, I'm not Geek Squad or Cryptocurrency Squad, so. So somebody said, did you hear Ether Delta got hacked? Yes, I did hear Ether Delta got hacked. Definitely something that I did hear. I haven't traded on Ether Delta in quite some time, but yeah, who knows? So somebody says, Edward is trolling me. I hope so. Call phone support. Yeah, it's 800 what is it? 1877 Cars for Kids, KARS Cars for Kids, 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. Oh, here we go. So if you ever lose your, maybe you guys aren't like based in the New York area, because this is always the commercial that's on the crappy sports radios. So, but yeah. No, funny responses, but no, I'm not drunk now. Somebody says, "Can I donate $100?" Yeah, absolutely can. Feel free. If you have a question, let me know, but I would absolutely appreciate a $100 donation. Same commercial here in Tennessee. Dash or Ripple next on Coinbase. Your thoughts? I think both have a legitimate shot at being listed on Coinbase for sure. I think both do have an element of centralization. I think from a pre-mine perspective with Dash, from Ripple, it's one of the more centralized crypto assets out there. If you understand the background and if you kind of know what's going on. So Ripple is definitely a little bit more centralized. Doesn't necessarily stick to. And I made a video about this previously, but the G Dax asset. Here we go. G Dax asset framework. If you haven't seen the video, you can go back to the video at any point in time. But here we go. So somebody said, "How do you donate some money?" I will donate $100 if you put them all into Dogecoin. Yeah, let's do it. We'll throw it all into Doge. Let it ride. But so here, the digital asset framework. If you don't have a link to that, I'll throw it in the chat here as well. And we can go from there. But so a couple different things. One of the first things in the GDAX digital asset framework is decentralization. The network is public, decentralized, enables trustless consensus. You could argue that is not the case for Ripple potentially. Although Ripple is literally, let's see here. Let's see here. So if we go to Ripple, and then we want to find directions to Coinbase. That is how far Ripple and Coinbase are from each other. They are a 6-minute walk. They are 0.3 miles. So it may have something to do. It may not have anything to do. But, I mean, that's about as close proximity physically as you could possibly get to each other. Benjamin mentions, "I locked my keys in my car, and I don't know where my car is. Can you help?" Great stream. Keep it up. Yeah, I would recommend calling tech support for that one as well. Maybe, I don't know. But yes, that's possible. You might need GPS. I don't know what the best situation for you there would be. Yeah, so somebody said, "Bobby, the CNBC Twitter account, I saw that on LinkedIn, is run by a woman who is married to a guy hugely involved with Bitcoin Cash." Yeah, I saw that. A lot of theories being thrown around there. They have a pretty distinctive last name, so sounds like it might be the case. 404 error on the link. Sorry about that. So getting back to the point, why do prices vary between exchanges? So we can go to markets here. I mean, it's really it's an accessibility thing. It's all across the board. I mean, you can see here on GDAX, the price is $310. Then you can see on BitHum or BitThumb, whatever you want to call it, the price is $391. And it's the Korean trade pairing against the US dollar, but it's kind of all across the board. And you would look at that and you would say, you look at that and you say, "Oh, wow, I can make a ton of money arbitraging this. What if I buy on GDAX and I send it over to BitThumb? I can make $81 for every time I do this." Not always the case. Not always the case. A lot of times you just try to do it. That's what I'll say is, you look at this and you say, market arbitrage, I can make a ton of money and I'll just flip it and flip it and flip it. Try to do it. it's not always very easy. That is a big thing. It doesn't always work. So yeah, we'll go from there. Thank you, Jeffrey. I appreciate that super chat. And J Ribs, Bobby, I've fallen and I can't get up. Please send help. There's this crazy thing you can do on your cell phone. Probably you can either call this thing called 911 and they will probably send somebody to help, or alternatively, here we can do this. Life alert. Where do we have images? So wherever you are right now, J Ribs, help you falling and you can't get up. Buy Life Alert. I would take some of your crypto gains, take some of your profit, buy a Life Alert, and you should be okay. So you can't take your cell phone in the shower, but you can take a Life Alert in the shower. That thing is waterproof, baby. Couldn't find the 1-1 on the keypad. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. These oh, that's bad. I don't want to get political. Oh, man. And guys, if you are new to the channel by any chance, hit the subscribe button and then hit the little notify bell next to that. And that would be, I would very much appreciate that. That would be awesome. But outside of that, guys, I think Dominion, I accidentally did that. I did not realize that that's what it was. But no, Cardano will not get to $50. Yes. I would doubt Cardano gets to $50. I'd love it to, but I don't think it's going to. But yeah, outside of that, I'm probably going to head off and again might dabble the toes in relaxing a little bit tonight with a terrible game of Call of Duty. I might end up doing that. I'll take that last super chat there because I definitely appreciate that. But Jeffrey mentioned Bitcoin Gold marked as coming soon on the site. Yeah, I think that is. I don't think that is that truthful personally. I mean, anybody, they can put up any logo and say it's coming soon, but I don't see G Dax adding or Coinbase adding Bitcoin Gold anytime soon personally. But that's just my opinion. And then somebody else said EOS coming for a new all-time high. Yeah, EOS has been crushing it lately. I have no money in EOS at all, but EOS is definitely making some moves. As far as the all-time high, it's pretty close. I mean, it's maybe $1 below that, so it's pretty close. EOS has crushed it since October. I mean, if you've had any money in EOS, you have absolutely murdered it since October. I mean, it's up close to 2,000%, which is mind-blowing. But outside of that, guys, like I said, I really do appreciate the time. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Coming up on 2 hours here, so I'm going to kind of relax a little bit. Maybe have a little bit more whiskey. Who knows? We'll see. But thank you, guys. I really do appreciate all the questions, all the comments. Again, tomorrow, I'll be back with a daily video. Maybe YouTube Live, maybe not. Got to figure that out, see how much time I have. But really appreciate it. Peace, everybody. Have a good one.